First, drag the blueprint into the scene. Then set the scope in which it takes effect. Currently, there will be a delay in blueprint reading PCG data, but it does not affect the use. You need to input color, normal, and displacement textures. After inputting the texture, you need to check Remesh to generate the mesh. You can then adjust various parameters as needed. After each move, it is recommended to click the refresh button. You can also spawn on other meshes. As you can see, the generated mesh fits the terrain and other objects very well. If you want better results, you can apply RVT. But it should be noted that you need to specify the RVT file in your scene. And when using RVT, the consumption will be greater. And when using RVT, the consumption will be greater. This blueprint can quickly generate snow within the spline range. When Remesh is unchecked, you can see the range of the snowball spread. If you find that the snowball is not delicate enough, you can adjust the radius parameter to get a more accurate scatter. When everything is confirmed, click Remesh. Noise may look unnatural in some cases. This problem can be solved by properly adjusting the UV and intensity of noise. Finally, if you don't want snow to spawn in certain places, you can exclude it by tag. This PCG blueprint is the most commonly used. There are more common functions than other PCG blueprints. Now I will demonstrate the relevant functions through examples. Adjusting density and random size is definitely essential. Then put in the mesh that needs to be scattered. In the PCG blueprint, I divided the meshes into 3 groups. They can adjust their properties independently. Can also be used in combination. In the same group, you can put multiple meshes. They are assigned positions according to a random seed. Now I put mushrooms in the second and third groups. You can choose whatever you want, they will be randomly scattered. Now I check the surround function. Then the second and third groups of meshes will surround the first group. Note, the mesh will scale based on distance. Adjust the scale and we can change the random seed to get the effect we want. Then check absolute rotation, the model will be vertical to the ground. Next I will demonstrate the exclusion function. I'll check close spline. Then put the closed spline blueprint into the scene. You can see that the mesh inside the spline disappears. Let me adjust the spline. Okay, now you can see where the spline goes. The mesh will disappear. This is the first exclusion method. Let's look at the second method, spline row. Similarly, check the option and put the blueprint into the scene. Then adjust the pads that need to be excluded. For uneven ground, sometimes you need to adjust the height of the point. Now let's show you the third. First enter the tag name of the mesh. Then I copied a stone over here. Let me adjust it, it's a little too big. Then search for the component tag and enter the component name. Please make sure the name is the same as in the PCG blueprint. Then you will see that no PCG objects are generated where the mesh is. The last part is about landscape materials. They correspond to the names in the landscape material. Now I use the corresponding material to paint in the landscape. You will see that no PCG objects are generated in the landscape material. When I check the invert button, PCG objects are only generated in landscape materials. This PCG blueprint has similar functionality to scatter object. There are two differences between them. The first point is that the scope of this PCG blueprint is relatively free. The second point is that this PCG blueprint cannot generate objects on the mesh. Other than that, there is no difference. The third PCG blueprint can generate objects on any mesh. In this example, I will use this stone in front of me to show. If your mesh is scaled, PCG may also have scaling issues. We need to make sure the mesh has the same properties as the PCG, including their size, position, rotation, etc. The density of the object is a bit high, let me adjust it. Okay, now let's replace the scattered mesh. Let me pick a few bushes. Then adjust their density. Note, density distribution is from bottom to top or from top to bottom. Then set the random scaling value. Finally, check the exclude button at the top. Enter an ideal value and you are done. This is the spline PCG blueprint. Objects will be scattered along the spline. If the landscape is uneven, please adjust the height of the point appropriately. You can choose whether to follow the path or adjust the random density. Let me adjusted some stones into the PCG blueprint. Then adjust the random rotation. Sometimes, using spline scatter with exclusion can also produce good results. Some additions about scatter an object. Scatter an object can scatter based on the material ID of the mesh. In UE5, the first material ID is 0, the second is 1, and so on. The default setting in the blueprint is 0. If you enter a non-existent material ID, PCG will not generate any objects.